All right, everybody, welcome into the high noon stream for today, Tuesday afternoon. I'm Pugs Moran. We do this every Monday through Friday, noon till whenever. That's what the high noon stream is. It's just all the things that are happening on this day, this particular day. Hold on, let me add a couple of things here. Get the chat room going. So far, nobody's posting up in the chat yet. I always like to see who the first person is. It's almost always Jeff Ballard, but on these days when I get in, it's Taronda. Taronda comes in first. There she goes. And we got Al. All right, now here come all the boys. All right, there's Jeff. Hey. Okay, so guys, just a little bit of a warning. I have the towel for really big moments, and I have all of my tissues for others. This weather, especially yesterday, just kicked the crap out of me and my allergies. Are you guys going through this? First of all, it's cold in here. We're as we do this stream from North Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's always been 100 degrees. It's 100 degrees here all the time, like 300 days a year. It's 100 degrees here. It's insane. And right now it is 62 degrees where I sit, and it is cold. And yesterday was, look, I got to be honest about yesterday. Okay. The allergies are really bad because of what we went through this week. Hey, by the way, you see my sunburn? I don't know if you can see my sunburn anymore. It's on the back of my neck. Here, how do I can't look this way and show you my sunburn. Anyway, Saturday, I go to the SMU Cincinnati game at SMU with me and the boy, and it was like it was like 80 degrees, 85 degrees, but I got the worst sunburn of my summer, of the entire summer. It was the first time that I'd been out in the actual direct sun all summer. And I'm a lake guy. You guys know I spend all this time out at the lake with my fair Irish skin. And so I know sunburn is a possibility, but I coated up in sunblock. I'm always over in sunblock, and I never got a sunburn. I have not had a sunburn of note. I mean, a little sensitivity here and there in certain areas that I may have missed with the sunblock. But, as compared to my younger days when I was just running around with no sunblock, getting baked, getting blisters, skin peeling, all the horrible stuff that I went through as a kid, I haven't had that because I'm smart, because I use sunblock. Well, I went to a college football game in the fall at a university, and in October, in late October, no less. I didn't think I needed sunburn. I got the worst sunburn of probably 10, 15 years of life. The worst sunburn I've ever received. It was so bad. My neck is like, the back of my neck is just, and my ear just cooked. So that was very painful. That was Saturday. And then on Sunday, it was, I guess, kind of nice, right? Sunday was a normal day. But then yesterday, Monday, what happened yesterday? Yesterday, it was cold and thunderstormy, and the rains were just flooding everywhere. It was a nasty day. And for some reason, my head exploded at some point between Sunday evening and Monday morning. So I appreciate you, but yeah, yesterday was one of those days where I woke up with like all of this like headache and sinuses and all this stuff in my head. It has something to do with barometric pressure. I don't know. Doctors have told me, they've explained it to me, but I'm not a scientist or a weatherman, so I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. But man, was it bad yesterday. And it's still bad today, but it's getting better. It's getting a little bit better. So, I mean, yesterday I was talking like this because I had all this junk in my throat. It was gross. So I appreciate you bearing with me. I probably could have muscled through it. It wouldn't have been fun for me. And it was rainy. I mean, tell me that you guys, yesterday, when you woke up yesterday morning here in North Texas, didn't you just want to look out the window and then roll over and just go, I'm going back to bed? And I'm hearing thunder. It's 8:30 in the morning. I'm hearing thunder. There's lightning in my window. The rain is pouring. I can't breathe. I'm having difficulty breathing. This is a day that we're just going to forget about. And then, of course, my team was playing on Monday Night Football. So whenever my team plays on Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football or whatever it is, any sort of a special showcase game at night. That day is always just put on the back burner for me. It's just the day is just all about, okay, when are we going to get to kickoff? Can we just get to kickoff? So that's what I went through yesterday. So I appreciate you being here with me, and we'll get through it. I'm fine. I'm going to keep going. Oh, by the way, tonight, this is the first of 2 streams that we do. This one we do Monday through Friday, noon to whenever. It's about headlines, hot topics, current events, anything that's trending, anything that people are talking about. That's what we get you into right here, Monday through Friday, noon till 2. But we do another stream. We do Pugs and Parker. Me and Parker, we just hang out. 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. Whoop, excuse me. Tonight is going to be our second end. We're doing trivia on Tuesday nights. We've decided every Tuesday night's going to be Tuesday night trivia. So join us tonight on Pillow Talk with Pugs and Parker for Tuesday night trivia. Don't I have a thing for that? I think I do. Yeah, I do. I think I got a little banner. Look at me with the little thing scrolling. There it is down there. Join me and Parker tonight at 9 o'clock. Sign up. I did not just sign out. For some reason, it just said that I signed out on here. Hold on. Google, for some reason, wants me to verify, even though I can't get into this. All right. Let me get a little sip of hot coffee. How are you guys today? You guys doing all right? Al says, now the ones that you guys can't answer, you are to give the people in the chat room a chance to answer. Well, first of all, Al, I don't envision a question that either me or Parker can't answer. I mean, well, we might get it wrong, but we should at least try to answer. I don't know how to include the chat room in the game. Oh God, here comes the dog. Look at her. She just comes walking in. Oh, you just come walking in, huh? All right. She figured out how to open the door. And now and there she goes. She's going into the bedroom. She's going to lay on the floor and stare at me. Now I got to close the door. Because the dog has learned how to open the door. She just hasn't learned how to shut the door. And man, there's a little cool breeze coming in here, huh? All right. My blanket. All right. You just lay there on the floor. When I'm not here, I have to barricade the back door because I don't like to lock it. Because first of all, I don't have to lock it. Nobody's gonna break into this property. Not with her in the backyard. She's not gonna let anybody. She's not gonna let any human break into the back door. So I don't like to lock it because a lot of times I come in, I'll have bags, and you gotta get the keys out. So I just like to leave it open. And when I leave, she knows how to open the door. She gets up on her back 2 legs. She takes her little paws. She puts her paws on the door handle, and then she starts messing with it. I don't know if she knows what she's doing, but I can hear her messing with it. And then she slowly puts her weight on the door, and the door pops open. And that's how she walks in. And she just walks in whenever she wants. So when I leave, like me and my kid on Friday night or on Saturday afternoon, we went out. I didn't have my kid this weekend. We just went to a football game on Saturday, so he was here for a while. But we came back, and I forgot to put the barricade in front of the door so the dog can't open the door. And she got an entire bag of corn chips. She jumped up on top of the microwave. She got a whole bag of mandarin oranges, which she didn't enjoy, but she did puncture each orange with her tooth. And I imagine that they squirted her with orange, and then that's why she didn't eat them. And then she also got the garbage, and she just spread the garbage out. So that's why we need to barricade the door, because this animal knows how to get in. All right. We should get into the show, shouldn't we? Hi, JBM. JBM says she got my 3rd COVID booster on Sunday. Good news. This one did not have the intense arm pain. Bad news. I felt ill for about 12 hours with headache, body aches, and chills. Gotta tell you, JBM, the arm pain is ridiculous. These things, look, I've gotten all my shots. Okay. I'm due for a booster, and I'm putting it off. But I got all my shots, and every single time, my arm was wrecked for a week. Why? Why does that happen? What is it? Why does my you can't lift your arm after you? I don't get that. I mean, I've been punched in the arm and it hasn't, by big people, and it hasn't hurt to that extent for that period of time. I don't understand why that happens. As far as you feeling sick, oh, that's what's putting me off of getting my next booster. And I'm overdue for my booster. I need to get my booster. I don't think I'm going to get my booster. I think I'm done. I got so sick. After my first booster. It was 12 hours of, she describes it as headache and body aches and chills, all of that, plus a fever. I had a fever of 102 for, again, and seems like it's the same thing, about 12 hours. After getting the shot to stop me from getting sick, I got sicker than I have been in years. Now, this didn't happen with the first two shots. The first two shots were kind of okay. First two shots, I, felt a little bit drag ass, like, not feeling great, but I was able to do my stuff. The booster kicked my ass for 12 hours. And it's so weird. It was 12 hours. It was a horrible, horrible 12 hours. And then the second day, I took a nap at like 11 o'clock in the morning, which always means that you're sick. If you're like, I got to go to sleep for a couple hours, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning and you just woke up like 3 hours earlier. I woke up from my nap on the second day and my bed was soaking wet. At some point, I must have broke the fever and just sweated through everything. Woke up at like 1 o'clock that day feeling 100%. Went to McDonald's because I hadn't eaten in 12 hours. Went to McDonald's and just gorged on Big Macs and French fries. Felt great. But I got to be honest with you. Those 12 hours, man, those 12 hours of intense sickness, I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I keep getting my alerts. You are overdue for your booster shot. I'm like, whatever. We'll see. All right, let's get into what today is. This is what we do here. We run through all the things that are happening on this day. We talk about the history of the day. We talk about people who were born on this day, and then we mourn a couple of the passings. And then and only then, when we feel like we have a good idea on what this day represents throughout history, then we get into what is actually happening today. Today is high noon. It's the 25th day of October, year of our Lord, 2022. October 25th is the 298th day of the year. Only 67 more until the end of the year. Now, think about this. This dawned on me. We're in the home stretch, people. It's October 25th. 2 months from today, eight weeks from today, will be Christmas morning. It'll be Christmas morning 2 months from today. You know what was 2 months ago? August 25th. Our kids were already back in school. Summer was over. That seems like nothing. That's like a blink of the October 25th seems like just a couple of weeks ago. Kind of was. I mean, it was 8. But you know what I mean? We are not far. Christmas time is coming. And I'm still trying to find a PlayStation 5. I'm still trying to find a PlayStation 5 for my kid. And the PlayStation 5 has now been out over a year. Last year, totally difficult to get if you didn't want to spend like premium, ridiculous underground prices for it. You could have gotten one, but not in a store, not like a normal person, not at the list price. And that's all I'm looking for. I'm just looking for a PlayStation 5 at a list price. Here we are 1 year later. They are just as hard to find. Still, they were hard. You couldn't get one in April of last. I mean, you can't get them. Every time they show up in a store, they are gone instantly. Anytime there's stock available online, some robo buyer comes in and snatches all 100 of them up. It is impossible. And the ones that are the ones you can get, they've doubled in price. We're talking, first of all, these systems were like $400 list. They should be $400. They're going for $8, $9, $1,000. And my kid's like, I've been waiting patiently. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? Maybe you're just not a rich kid. Maybe you're just not going to be one of these kids who gets the latest video gaming system. Maybe you're going to get the PlayStation 5 2 weeks before the PlayStation 6 comes out. Maybe that's just our lot in life. And you know what, Sonny? It builds character. Although that doesn't really shut them up in the moment, But everybody else has got one. I'm like, no, everybody else doesn't have one. Stop with that. All right, Christmas. Can you tell Christmas stress is already getting to me? 2 months. I got 2 months to acquire a PlayStation 5. I don't care if it's the digital version or although he wants the more expensive one. Of course he does. He's a kid. He doesn't know. But hey, whatever. I will come through. I will come through with a PlayStation 5 this year for him. I have to. He's like, I'm not getting any other presents this year. Like, what? You're an only child. What do you mean you aren't getting any other presents this year? He goes, well, I think we're going on a big fancy trip and that's going to be my present. I'm like, okay, so that's a present. So you're getting a present. You're getting a life experience. You're going to go somewhere. I don't know where they're going, but you're going to go somewhere. And stop it. You are an only grandchild. You are not going to go without presents, okay? You've got a grandma who's going to give you presents. You've got me. I'm going to give you presents. I'm not going to get anything, so I need the $2,000 PlayStation 5. First of all, there's no such thing in the real world, at least the one that I exist in, where a $2,000 PlayStation 5 is a thing. It's not a thing. That's a mirage. That is not ever happening for you. Nobody's ever going to spend $2,000 on a gaming system. I'm sorry. Can you tell? It's hanging over me. Got to get him a PlayStation 5. All right, let's talk about the history of this day. On this day in 1940, Benjamin O. Davis Sr. is named the first African-American general in the United States Army. 1940, that's pretty good. I mean, knowing the history of, the struggle in this country, 1940, they made a general. Okay, all right. 1945, 50 years of Japanese administration of Taiwan formally ends when the Republic of China assumes control. Yeah, it's going to happen, Japan. When you choose the wrong side in a world war, you're going to end up losing stuff. Mm-hmm. On this day in 1983, United States and its Caribbean allies invade Grenada. 6 days after Prime Minister Maurice Bishop and several of his supporters are executed in a coup d'etat. Do you remember this? I do, because I was a little kid, and this was like, as a little kid, we'd heard about Vietnam, but we didn't know anything from Vietnam. We'd heard about the American military power and, all this stuff, but we were really, the 70s, there were no wars. We didn't really do anything. We had troops some places like the Middle East and stuff, but there was never really anything going on. And then Grenada. And then all of a sudden we're going to war. Yeah, the American war machine. That whole thing. We're going to war. And it was like Grenada. And I didn't even know where Grenada, and I still don't know where Grenada is. Haven't heard of Grenada since this, but the world's most powerful military invaded the island nation of Grenada, and we acted like it was a real war. It wasn't. It was just us, and it was a medical school, right? Like a sketchy medical school in Grenada. It's like, I think the reason that we went in was that we said that there were a bunch of American medical students going to medical school in Grenada, and during this season of unrest there, someone needed to go in, but I don't know. I think it was just, I think we just had all of these things, and it wasn't that far, and it wasn't going to cost a lot to get over there. And we had an opportunity to sort of show the world what we could do if we wanted to do, even though it was like Grenada, whatever. That was on this day in 1983. That was the Grenadian invasion. Well, I don't even know what we call it. The Grenadian War. I don't know. Is it Grenadian? Is that, I don't even know. I know nothing about the island nation of Grenada. To be honest, not even sure it's an island nation. I just assume it is. Could be landlocked. I don't know. On this day in 1995, a commuter train slams into a school bus in Fox River Grove, Illinois, killing 7 students. I don't know if this was a national story, but this was a major story in the Chicago area. This was a real tragedy. I was on the radio at the time. We did a number of events for the families of the Fox River Grove kids, and school bus, train tracks. Oh my God, the bus got stuck on the train tracks. Why can't we stop trains faster? Why can't trains? Why haven't we looked into that? Shouldn't there be a way to stop a train faster? Okay, and if you say no because the tracks and the mass and the forward motion and all that, fine. Well, then we need new tracks. We need a different way of moving these things. We should be able to train. We shouldn't just resign ourselves to, if there's a train coming and it's 100 yards away and you're in its way, there's no way that train's going to stop. It's going to kill you. It's not going to stop in time. that needs to be fixed. We need to come up with a way to stop trains quicker. Yeah. Anyway, on this day in 1999, this is another weird one. I remember watching this. This was happening live on CNN, middle of the afternoon. They were following this thing. In 1999, a Learjet 35 crashes in Mena near Aberdeen, South Dakota, killing all 6 people on board, including PGA golfer Payne Stewart. Remember when Payne Stewart died in the runaway Learjet? What a horrifying situation this was. Apparently, all these people, Payne Stewart included, famous golfer, one of the best golfers of his era, Payne Stewart was on this plane, this private Learjet, flying to another tournament or something. I don't know. Maybe he was flying home. I'm not entirely sure. But the plane was just, nobody was flying it. It was just like on autopilot. It was just flying. And they scrambled jets, and there were jets, American military jets that were flanking it. And apparently there was some kind of, for lack of a better description, kind of like a carbon monoxide situation. Although I don't know if that's exactly what it was, but it was like something. Everybody in the plane passed out because of something, some kind of, let's just call it carbon monoxide. It's like that. Everybody in the plane passed out. There was like a leak or something, and it flew on its own for a long period of time before eventually crashing. And 6 people died. Payne Stewart, one of them. That was crazy. And they were reporting it as Payne Stewart's plane. That's why the news media was on it. They're like, Payne Stewart's plane has been flying now for an hour, and nobody's responding, and it's losing altitude, and it's flying. It was just crazy, terrible thing. Ugh, scary. How about some births? Let's celebrate some birthdays. Born on this day in 1881, Pablo Picasso, Spanish painter and sculptor. Crazy man. Totally crazy dude. Born on this day in 1912, Minnie Pearl, American entertainer and philanthropist. Died in 1996. Howdy! Wasn't that her thing? Wasn't that she had a hat with a tag hanging on it? Now, like every hip hop guy in the world has a hat with a tag hanging on it. Very Minnie Pearl. Look at you, going way back, throwback, cool. That was her thing. She was a comedian, Grand Ole Opry, right? Wasn't that where she started? She was like in between acts, she'd come out and go, howdy. She didn't do whatever. I don't know. I don't even know if she was funny. Hee Haw too, right? Wasn't she on Hee Haw? Minnie Pearl, American treasure. Born on this day in 1924, Billy Barty, American actor. He died in 2000. Billy Barty was the default dwarf in all movies and TV between 1950 and 1980. Like if you saw before we had excuse me, before we had Dinklage. Dinklage is like the most famous dwarf actor now. Mini-me, I guess. Vern Troyer, he had his moment in the sun for a little period of time. But it was Billy Barty. Billy Barty was like, you'd know him if you saw him. You'd know his face. Was Billy Barty in The Wizard of Oz? He might have been. Billy Barty. Now I need to know. You know what? I don't need to know. I'm just going to go with Billy Barty was in The Wizard of Oz. Seems like he would have been. Born on this day in 1928, Marion Ross, Mrs. C. I like Mrs. C. Mrs. C is probably my favorite TV mom of all time. Hold on, let me think about that. I also kind of like Roseanne Connor. Roseanne Connor was a pretty good TV mom. I liked her a lot. Now, we're going to go with Mrs. C, though. Marion Ross, born on this day in 1928. Marion Ross had a sexuality about her that was hidden, but was definitely intriguing, especially if you watch it now. Like, there was something going on between Marion and Howard, or not Howard, Marion and Fonzie. There was something going on. There was an energy. There was a sexual tension between Fonzie and Marion. And you got to imagine, Fonzie's living in the garage. He's not keeping regular hours. She's a housekeeper. All the kids are at school. Howard's at the hardware store. Something's going on in the middle of the day between Fonzie and Mrs. C. I always felt it. Born on this day in 1940, Bobby Knight, American basketball player and coach. Boy, he's been quiet. He's been quiet the last few years. probably for the best. Probably in this era. This is not an era designed for a Bobby Knight to thrive in. So probably best that he's been quiet. Born on this day in 1944, James Carville, the Nosferatu of the Democratic Party. This guy, he is an interesting looking fella. I find him very entertaining though. Funny guy. Born on this day in 1954, Mike Eruzione, captain of the Miracle on Ice. Mike Eruzione, American ice hockey player and coach. Don't know what he's doing now. Don't know what he's been doing for the last 40 years. But I remember Mike Eruzione. I remember Jack O'Callahan. I remember Craig. All of those guys, the Miracle Ice team, form a very important team in the history of my life. For any Gen X boy who likes sports, the Miracle on Ice team. Yeah, we'll always remember them. Didn't even like hockey. For like what, a week? I think for like a week, I was a crazy hockey fan. And it was a week in 1980 during the Olympics. That's it. And then the next year's Olympic hockey team was very disappointing. And we all lost interest. I'm sorry. I'm fighting off my allergies here. And I don't think you need to hear the gross noises that I have to make in order to clear the pipes. Let's see. Who else do we have? Tracy Nelson, born on this day in 1963. Tracy Nelson, daughter of Ricky Nelson, sister to Nelson, the band. Tracy Nelson, maybe you know her from Square Pegs. She was the mean girl in Square Pegs. She also played a nun in some show. Anyway, she's an actress. You might recognize her. She's kind of cute in a real offbeat kind of way. Like she's not like classically Hollywood hot, but she was definitely like, she played sexy roles. She definitely, I don't know. I liked her. She had a little something. She did something to me. Tracy Nelson back in the day. Who else do we have? Born on this day in 1957. Oh, we went out. Why did we go out of what? Tracy Nelson was 63. Why did I skip? Nancy Cartwright, born on this day in 1957. Do you know who Nancy Cartwright is? She's Bart Simpson. She's the voice of Bart Simpson, Nancy Cartwright. Let's see. Who else? Born on this day in 1969, Samantha Bee, Canadian-American comedian and television host. Samantha Bee, formerly of The Daily Show, went on to have her own show, Samantha Bee. She was funny. She's funny, but way too. I don't do political humor anymore because I don't find anything funny about our politics. So Samantha Bee. No, thank you. I'm going to pass on you, John Oliver, Trevor Noah, Bill Maher, Jon Stewart. I'm passing on all that stuff. Although, to be fair, Jon Stewart isn't really doing comedy anymore. So maybe I can let him back in. I don't know. Ed Robertson was born on this day in 1970. Ed Robertson is a Canadian singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer. He's most famous for the Bare Naked Ladies. I am a big Bare Naked Lady fan. Of course, you might think that Stephen Page, the baritone lead singer of Bare Naked Ladies, is the most important person in that group. Nope, you'd be wrong. It's Ed Robertson. Ed Robertson is such a talented guy. He's like a hybrid between Paul McCartney and Weird Al Yankovic. He's got this he is great. I love me some Ed Robertson. Happy birthday to you, Ed Robertson. Born on this day in 1970. Born on this day in 1971. For a period of time, I don't care who you can name, for a period of time, he was, in my opinion, the most dominant baseball pitcher that I've ever seen. I've seen him pitch twice in real life. He was dominant in both outings. And happy birthday to Pedro Martinez. Pedro Martinez. That dude was a beast. That dude, I maybe the records don't reflect, whatever record statistics, But I'll tell you, if in the history of all of my baseball watching, if I had to have a game one starter, an ace on the mound for my team in the World Series, I'd probably go Pedro Martinez. Like 1998, Pedro Martinez. I'm trying to think when that would have been, but whatever. Pedro was, born on this day in 1971. One of my favorites, Craig Robinson, American actor and singer. Daryl from The Office. You probably best know him as Daryl from The Office. Me and my kid, we love him in the Hot Tub Time Machine movies. Yeah, that's where we know him from. Craig Robinson, born on this day in 1971. Excuse me. Making noises, making weird noises. Allergies. God, they suck. Bless you if you don't have to put up with these allergies. Born on this day in 1984, we've got another birthday. Katy Perry. Katy Perry, American singer, songwriter, and actress, 38 years old today. I like Katy Perry. I don't really have any hot takes on Katy Perry. She's hot enough. She's, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, let's talk about some deaths and people who left us on this day. We have a number of those that we need to talk about. Dead on this day in 1991, Bill Graham. Bill Graham. Not to be confused with Billy Graham. Bill Graham is a concert promoter. He owned the Fillmore. He owned the Fillmore East and the Fillmore West, San Francisco, and New York. He also owned a whole bunch of other venues across the country. Bill Graham Presents was his company, and it's an incredible book. If you love, I got on a kick in my 20s where I started working in radio, where I got really interested in the music business. Like not I don't care about the stories of excess and groupieism and all that, although I've read a few of those books as well. But I got really interested in like the ins and outs of the business of music, how it worked. Now, everything that I learned back then is different now because, digital and, downloading and all that has changed the business. But three books that I think were the most interesting, and I read dozens of them, anything on the music business. One was called Hitmen. Hitmen was amazing. Hitmen was about the rack jobbers. Rack jobbers are dudes that used to go around to all the record stores in America and make sure that the record stores had the record company's music on their shelves and was, cutouts and posters and promoting it properly. And there's a whole bunch of people that were focused in that. I mean, Irving Azoff, Ahmet Ertegun, Clive Davis. So it's really interesting about all those people. Another book was Mansion on the Hill, which was about the rise of the mega record companies, and all the money they poured in. But Bill Graham presents about the birth of the modern concert industry was so interesting. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, how we went from playing in dance halls to arenas, Bill Graham Presents is the book for you. Bill Graham died on this day in 1991. Dead on this day in 1993, Vincent Price. Vincent Price died on this day. Horror master. He was Thriller. He's the guy that does the voiceover at the beginning of Michael Jackson's Thriller. If you're from the 80s like me, then Vincent Price haunted your nightmares in the 70s. He was super creepy. What else about Vincent Price? He was gay. That's interesting. Although I think I always kind of knew that. Like, I could kind of I don't know. I just kind of always kind of thought, even when I was little, I kind of thought that guy was, whatever. Yeah, don't tell me he was married 3 times. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was married 3 times. So what? That's what gay actors did. But he's in his later life. His daughter wrote a book about how it was an open thing in the family and all that kind of stuff, and we all knew. Whatever, still cool. Vincent Price, creepy AF, man. Let me tell you. Dead on this day in 1993. Dead on this day in 1995, Bobby Riggs. We just talked about Bobby Riggs a couple of days ago when we were talking about Billie Jean King and the Battle of the Sexes. Bobby Riggs was the guy, the hustler, the tennis pro, self-promoter who got himself into the spotlight and, there you go. Challenged Billie Jean King, who was a young woman in the prime of her athletic prowess, the best female tennis player of the moment, and this old, half-drunk, cigarette-smoking club pro decided to challenge her, and it turned into a major event. And, of course, she won because he was a middle-aged punch, kind of tubby, cigarette smoking, borderline alcoholic con man. So Billie Jean King, in the prime of her career, waxed him, but and she even took it easy on him. And by the way, fun fact, they were friends. They were in on it together. They were in cahoots in the planning and the splitting of the money and all that stuff. So there you go. Dead on this day in 1999, we've already talked about this. Payne Stewart, the American golfer, he died in his plane when his plane everybody in the plane died, and the plane flew for a while and then crashed. Dead on this day in 2002, Minnesota Senator Paul Wellstone also died in a plane crash on this day in 2022. And by the way, there are a couple other big plane crashes, but we don't mention all the plane crashes anymore because that's just too dark. I used to do in the early days of the show, I used to run down a whole list of planes that crashed because I believe that in every day in history, if you look at a certain period of time between like just after World War II till about 1990, maybe 2000, planes crashed all the time. They hadn't worked the bugs out. And we would just get in these hollowed out aluminum tubes filled with gasoline, and we'd let people smoke, and we'd do all we didn't know. It was just like, so far, so good. This technology's working. They hadn't had the bugs all. Now I feel much safer. Planes don't seem to crash the way they used to crash. Things like flange would break at 30,000 feet and an engine would fall off and the plane would spiral into an ocean. That doesn't really happen that much anymore. So knock wood, I still am not a good flyer. All right, that's all the things that have happened today. So let's talk about what is happening today. What will define October 25th from today's perspective? Well, first and foremost, we got this guy, Rishi Sunak. You guys know who Rishi Sunak is? He's the new Prime Minister of England. 3 prime ministers they've had in this year. That's pretty cool. Liz Truss, who replaced Boris Johnson, who was kicked out because he was apparently a party boy, and he did a lot of dumb things, and people were like, we're done with his dumb things. So they got rid of him. And then they brought in Liz Truss, and she's like, I'm going to be the Iron Lady. And they're like, no, you're not. And she lasted 44 days, and now she's gone. And now we've got this new guy, Rishi Sunak, who's going to come in and try and form a government and try and get... I don't even know what they're doing over there. I don't even know what the problem is over there. I don't even know how the British parliamentary system works. I don't know. You know what? I know that an MP is a member of parliament. I know that there's do they still call it the House of Lords? Those are like, don't they have their gigs forever? Like they don't run for but the lower house, the members of parliament would be like our congressmen, and they have to run for re-election. But then the upper house, they're like senators, but they don't ever have to run for right? I don't know how it works over there. But this guy is the 3rd prime minister. Who knows if he's going to stick? We might get a 4th in this year. It might be the year of 4 prime ministers because the Conservative Party over there is having troubles. They turned on Boris, they threw out Liz, and now they're going to the well a 3rd time for this guy. Interestingly enough, though, he is the first person of color. I was going to say non-white, but he's the first person of color to lead the United Kingdom from the prime minister's post. He's Indian English. He's so there you go. Look at that. Look, you know what? You look at it like this. Colonization, right? The Brits, they went over and they colonized India, and they basically made all those people British citizens. And they're like, you now work for us, or whatever it was. I'm sure it was a little bit more diplomatic than that. But you know what I'm saying? They went over there and they said, nah, you're not you anymore. Now you're kind of like us. It was a problem for a while, but it seems to have worked to a degree because here we are, in the year 2022, and the most important city in the United Kingdom, London, is run by an Indian English mayor, and now the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is an Indian British Prime Minister. So look at that, colonizations. They made their way into the big chairs. Brittany Griner is trending today. Brittany Griner went in front of a Russian court again. She's appealing her 9-year sentence. She was sentenced to 9 years in the Gulag. And today was an appeal. And she went up and she said, I would like to appeal the 9 years. And they said, no. And they sent her back. And basically didn't go so well for her. So first appeal, Brittany Griner, niet is what they told her. And, again, I don't know how I feel about this. This is a very difficult time for Brittany Griner to be in the position that she's in. What with the Ukrainian war and what with the Russian people or the Russian government, Putin in particular, feeling nobody loves me. Well, you're an asshole. That's nobody loves you because you're an asshole. So I don't know that like there's a deal to be made. And what are we going to give up? I mean, Brittany Griner has put us in a position where we might have spies, people who are important to us, people that, it's good that we have in American control or under American control. And now we're going to have to give up like some strategic things. Look, okay, whatever. Not my decision. I don't know. But I don't know. Look, she created this situation on her own. She created this situation by going to a trouble spot for an American. She went to a trouble spot because the troubled spot was offering her $1 million a year. That's what her contract is to play women's basketball in Russia, $1 million a year. It's like 3 times what she makes in the WNBA. So, okay, so she went, she took the deal. But also, I mean, did she not consider, okay, this is, there are some other issues other than me just cashing $1 million check. This is a geopolitical hotspot. This is not a country that we're the country of my origin. My passport says I'm a member of. This is not a country that gets along with me right now. And then she broke the law over there. I mean, if you're going to go and you're going to go for $1 million and you're like, I got to do this for the money, you got to not break their laws. I feel bad for her. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that, she's looking at 9 years in prison for having a vape pen. But I mean, she did it. What did she think? The rules didn't apply to her, that she was going to be able to sneak through? She's a high profile, not as high profile as she is now. I mean, granted, now she's super high profile. Before this happened, I don't think my mom would have known who Brittany Griner is. Hey, Mom, you know who Brittany Griner is? She'd probably been like, yeah, she's a pop singer. I don't think she'd have known. But now she knows. Now the world knows who Brittany Griner is. It's a tough situation for her. I feel bad for her. But, man, what are you supposed to do? Everything about this is bad timing. Ash Carter is also trending. Ash Carter, who served as Secretary of Defense in the final 2 years of the Obama administration and opened military jobs to women, also ended a ban on transgender people serving in the military, has died at 68 years old. Former Defense Secretary Ash Carter, dead at 68. Cardiac incident. I think he just dropped dead. Oh, man, the heart stuff. That's scary. Just make it fast. If I'm going to have a heart attack, have it be like a big one. I don't want to be on tubes. I don't want, ugh. Very concerned about that. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be so fat. Thank you. That's schizophrenic me, my co-host for these shows. Anyway, let's move on. That's terrible. That's a young man, 68. That is not old by today's standard. Ash Carter, former defense secretary, has passed away. Adidas is trending. Adidas is trending because they have finally cut ties with Kanye West after Kanye's. What is this guy? I mean, he is out of his mind. Last week, Kanye West does a video, or he was on some podcast or something, and he started going, Adidas can't even fire me. I'm so important, blah blah blah. I could say anti-Semitic stuff, and well, you've already said anti-Semitic stuff. He's already public. So look, he's taking provocative stances. He's taking offensive and provocative stances on anti-Semitism or Semitism. I don't know how would I phrase that properly. He doesn't like Jewish people. All right, let's just call it what it is. Kanye West is publicly proclaiming he doesn't like Jewish people. He's blaming them for stuff. All of these major companies that have been doing business with billionaire, not anymore. No, he's not a billionaire anymore. As of this afternoon, Kanye West is no longer a billionaire. So all of these companies are sort of breaking ranks with him because what's he doing? Talking about how he loves Hitler. The man is crazy. And Adidas was the company that he called out by name saying they can't fire me. So Adidas has been under a hot spotlight ever since he did that, and they didn't do anything. Adidas just sat there. Adidas did that thing that Trump taught us what to do, which is just sit it out. Just don't say anything. Let all the monkey in the peanut gallery, chirp and do whatever they want. Just ignore it, and it'll go away. And when the dust settles, you can go, we're back. And then people would be like, I think I was mad at you, but I don't remember what for, because I'm triggered to be mad about something every 30 hours. So, now I'm on being mad about something else. Okay, I'm going to go buy some Adidas. That's what they were hoping for. They were hoping for that. But their stock prices their stock prices tanked, and all of these other companies started dropping off he got dropped from CAA, which is the largest management firm in Hollywood. They put everything together for him. All of these concerts that you see, he did that. There was a documentary by, I don't know what film company was putting it up, but there was a documentary being made, a big theatrical documentary about Kanye West, and it's done. The documentary is done. And that company said, yeah, we're never going to release this. We don't want to be in business with him. We are going to take this documentary and we are going to put it in the vault next to Jerry Lewis's The Day the Clown Died. You know about that movie? You know about Jerry Lewis has a movie where he played a clown in a concentration camp, and it's supposed to be just like in the worst taste imaginable, because Jerry Lewis was all on drugs and stuff when he made this movie. And it's never been seen. They just went, yeah, Jerry, this movie will never be seen. You're a lunatic. So that's where they're going to put the Kanye West documentary. Adidas is trending because they have finally, as of this morning, they have officially cut ties with Kanye. Even though Kanye said just last week that they could never, I could say whatever I want and Adidas wouldn't terminate me. Well, Adidas has a bit of a history concerning the Jewish people and Nazism. So Kanye, I guess you didn't know the company's history, because they take this stuff pretty seriously. Adidas has ended its partnership with Ye, also known as Kanye West. We're calling him Kanye West. I'm not going to indulge him with his stupid little, I want to be called this now. No, you're Kanye West. That's what I'm going with. In a statement Tuesday, the sportswear maker said that it does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech, and said that this recent comments by Kanye were unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous. Adidas said that they violated the company's values of diversity and inclusion, mutual respect, and fairness. Sales and production of his Yeezy branded products have stopped, as well as payments to Yee and his companies. Adidas said it will take a $250 million hit to its fourth quarter sales. So Adidas made shoes for the Nazis, okay? Adidas, Adolfo, what was his name? No, not Adolfo. Adolf Dassler. That's what it is. Adolf Dassler, who is the guy who created the Adidas brand. Adolf Dassler was a member of the Nazi Party. He was in charge of a Hitler Youth Brigade. He provided shoes to the Nazi military. He even turned a bunch of his shoemaking factories into bomb-making facilities during World War II. And then Adolf Dassler then went and took a whole bunch of Jews who were in concentration camps and made them work for him for free. So when I tell you that Adidas, the brand, has a complicated history, and they don't need Kanye coming up and saying these kinds of things, which then makes people like me look into the Adidas history. And by the way, everybody on social media, Adidas has been taking a beating. Here's an interesting fun fact. So Adidas was actually two brothers. It was the Dassler shoemaking company, Dassler Brothers Shoes. And it was after World War II when Adolf and Rudolph. They were the two brothers. Adolf was still like super into the Nazi Party, like even after World War II, like in the years that it was over, he was like, "No, we can still win this." So Rudolph, the brother, was like, yeah, I'm going to take my 50% of the Dossler Brothers Shoe Company and I'm leaving. We're not going to, and they never spoke again. The two brothers, Adolf and Rudolf, never spoke again. This is when Adolf Dossler formed Adidas, which is the brand that we know today. So Adidas formed Adidas. Rudolfo then formed his own shoe company called Puma. That's right. Did you know that? Did you know that the Puma and Adidas, they were actually started by two brothers who were at war over being Nazis? so apparently, if you want to buy shoes that in no way were involved with Nazism and you need them to be German, that would be the Puma brand. And if you're concerned about giving money to a company that, made concentration camp Jews work for free in their factories during World War II, that would be Adidas. I happen to have both brands. I'm not going to be getting rid of my Adidas, but I don't know buy any more Adidas. They took way too long. They took way too long to distance themselves. They didn't do the right thing immediately. So Puma, I like Puma anyway. I like Puma better. My kid has nothing but Adidas stuff. He doesn't need to know about this. He just likes the brand, and that's fine. I don't need to lecture my son about the Adidas company's role in giving running shoes to the Nazi army. I don't know. They weren't even running shoes. It's like they didn't even get into running shoes until like the 50s and 60s. They made boots. They made, and then they started making soccer boots and all that. So that's why Adidas is trending. Def Jam is trending. Def Jam is trending because Def Jam is no longer in business with Kanye West. It's another one. Def Jam is now Def Jam is not doing any more business with Kanye West. Had his own record label with Def Jam. Good? Is it Good Records? I'm not entirely sure. Whatever it was, I don't know. But Def Jam has said, yeah, that's done. We're not putting out any more of that crazy music. Universal Music Group, which is the parent company, which holds the master contract with Kanye West for recordings and all that stuff. Universal Music Group is now the people who are in the spotlight. Everybody's like looking at them like, all right. So Def Jam, the little label, has said no. They're out. CAA is out. The film company that putting the document, they're out on Kanye. Adidas is now out on Kanye. What about you, Universal Music Group? What are you doing? We'll see. That'll probably break today. So Kanye. Oh, and by the way, another story that's going around is that officially, as of today, as of like noon this afternoon, Kanye West can no longer claim to be a billionaire. He is not a billionaire. He has lost about half, they're speculating, of his projected income over the next year. So still rich, still crazy, but man, tell you. Methodist Hospital here in Dallas is trending. Did we see this? Did we pay attention to this over the weekend? There was a shooting here in Dallas at Methodist Hospital. 2 nurses were killed. Another person was beaten. Here's the story. There was an active shooter. That whole thing went down Saturday afternoon. We were probably it was a lovely day Saturday, so we were probably all outside doing stuff. I was getting severely sunburned at the SMU game, but I saw this alert come across my phone. There was a active shooter in Methodist Hospital here in Dallas. Here's the story, though. It's not, again, this is not crazy guy gets a gun, I hate everybody, and just starts slaughtering random people. Nah, this was a sick, twisted criminal who should have never been in this position. This is a dude with a rap sheet, like a phone book, okay? He was in jail, he was out of jail, he was actually at the time of this incident, he was in custody wearing an ankle monitor. He wasn't allowed to leave, but for this particular visit to the hospital, he was allowed to visit because apparently his partner had just given birth. This is where this all took place at Methodist Hospital, in the maternity ward. So this creepy guy, well, here, I'll give you the story. Why not, right? This creepy ass guy, and when I say creepy, you should see him. Oh my God. Oh my God, like the full face tats, full neck tats, just jacked up looking, scariest dude that you've ever seen. Just, he's there. He's in the maternity ward. His partner had just given birth to a new baby. So he goes in there and for some reason he starts beating the crap out of the mom. He starts pistol whipping the mom. He had a gun. How did he have a gun? So they allow him to visit his partner who has just had a baby. But other than that, he's not allowed to leave. Now, I don't know where there are no guards around him. What? And he had a gun. How did he bring a gun? How is he a gun? I don't get it. Unless it's just like, hey, we trust you. Just go to the hospital and then go straight home. And then if you look at this guy, you got to be like, why would they ever trust him? This guy, just look at his face. He has never made a proper decision in his life. Look at all of the regrettable choices that he has made just by looking at his face. He's got like stuff on. He's just insane. So he goes into the maternity ward where his partner is, and he starts beating the crap out of her with the gun. He's pistol whipping her. The baby's in the room, and he's beating her up. So then a nurse comes running in. What the hell's going on? What the hell's going on? And bam, bam, murders her as she enters the room. Then a second nurse comes in. What the heck was that? What? Bam, bam, he murders that nurse. Then the security at the hospital, they're like, oh, something's going on. So he barricades himself in the room with his partner, who he's just been beating up, and the baby. The newborn baby's also in the room, unharmed, thankfully. And it turns into a barricade situation. This dude is eventually shot in the leg and taken into custody, and that's where we are. Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia, along with Methodist Health System Chief of Police Glenn Fowler, gave an update on the investigation into what took place inside the hospital Saturday morning. According to Chief Garcia, 45-year-old Jacqueline Pakua and 63-year-old Katie Flowers were the two hospital employees fatally shot Saturday morning when a man visiting a patient started shooting people in the hospital's mothers and baby floor. Garcia said 30-year-old Nestor Hernandez arrived at the hospital at 10:21 a.m. to see a patient, and that during that visit, he pulled out a gun from his pants and began striking the patient multiple times in the head. Police did not immediately say what led the man to begin attacking the woman. After the assault, Garcia and Pakua, these are the nurses, came into the room to provide routine services to the patient, and that's when she was as she was working on the woman, Hernandez got up, walked over to her, and shot her once. Garcia said Methodist Health Sergeant Robert Rangel was a few doors down investigating a stolen property call when he heard the gunshot. Another hospital employee, Katie Flowers, also heard the gun fire. Flowers, Garcia said, looked into the room and was shot by Hernandez as she stood in the hallway. Let's get into what Hernandez, what his situation is. Hernandez was shot in the leg, blah, blah, blah. He was stabilized and moved to a different hospital for treatment where he remains in unknown condition. Okay, so since the shooting, NBC5 has learned that Hernandez, the shooter, had previously been in prison and was out on parole. He was still wearing an ankle monitor, but had received permission to be at the hospital and with his partner while she gave birth. Because it's sweet. It's a big moment. He shouldn't miss this moment. I mean, yes, he's an incredibly dangerous guy who's been in and out of prison and violent charges and all this stuff. But he had a baby. This could change him. Why are we letting these people? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So he's got an ankle. Listen to this dude's story. Garcia said Monday that a person with Hernandez's criminal history should not have been freed and that someone who requires an ankle monitor should probably still be in custody. As I've stated publicly before, in my opinion, this is a failure of the criminal justice system. A violent individual such as this should not have been on an ankle monitor and should have remained in custody. Garcia said Hernandez was sentenced to 8 years in prison for aggravated assault and was released in October of 2021 after serving just 6 years. Chief Garcia said that Hernandez was then arrested again in March of 2022 for an unspecified parole violation. In April, he was released to his parole officer, but was arrested again in June, this time by Carrollton police, again for an unspecified parole violation. Garcia said Hernandez was held in the county jail and turned over to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, which released him in September 2022 with an ankle monitor. So he's been out for, less than a month on the ankle monitor. His partner is having a baby. And of course, Many of us can understand this. When the person you love brings another child into this world, a symbol of your love, a symbol of your union, your first instinct is to go beat the shit out of them with a handgun, right? That's what this guy did. NBC5 has learned that Hernandez has a lengthy criminal history dating back to 2011, including arrests for aggravated robbery, burglary, drug possession, and unlawful possession of a firearm. This is a bad guy. He should have never been out. And what kind of bullshit policy says, well, his girlfriend had a baby, and this probably means a lot to him. No. Again, I may not believe in the death penalty, but I do believe in punishing people who cannot adhere to the laws and the rules of a civilized society. If you build more prisons, put these people in prisons and don't let them out. If they violate the rules of our society, if they make it harder for us to be good, decent, and contributing members of this society, then fuck them. They gotta go. They gotta be taken out of society. And look, I know, well, there's so many people who are wrongfully imprisoned. This guy ain't one of them. This guy is not one of them, okay? Shoot, two nurses, two women working on a Saturday, shows up, taking care of newborn babies and moms, didn't go home to their families because this guy was allowed with an ankle monitor to go and visit the woman that he knocked up. Come on, this isn't a great love story, okay? This was just an excuse for him to be able to get out. Oh, what's that? One of the women I knocked up had a baby? Hey, I should probably be able to get out to see that because, it means a lot to me. And then what? They call the social worker or something, and you're like, all right, I'll okay this. Somebody needs to be fired. Somebody let this incredibly violent man with a gun. How did he get a gun into the hospital? Was there no guards with him? Again, I don't know how this works. He's on home confinement, so if they let him go to the hospital, can he just get in his car and go to the hospital? Or is he escorted by somebody? He should be, right? So anyway, the good news is this isn't one of those situations where it's just some random guy going, I hate everybody. It's not that. It is not that. So that's good. This is just something that's even more troubling, which is we have the bad guys. We know who the bad guys are, but we can't seem to keep a handle on them. We can't just... Moving on. Gen X radio host is trending. This happened in England. A guy by the name of Tim Go, who hosts a very popular Gen X themed radio show out of Suffolk, but it's broadcast nationally, I guess, throughout the UK. He died on the air. He died in the middle of a song. It was like the song when he was playing a song, he's probably doing, this one's from 1988. It's orchestra maneuvers in the, he's playing like some deep cut from the 80s. And then he plays a song and then he died 55 years old. Just died on the air. He died doing what he loved. Okay. All right. I guess that's something. Let's see what. Actually, I'll give you more on this story. We should probably go into some details here because it's not funny. It's not funny. It's just weird. It's just interesting. Radio DJ Tim Go dies live on the air at 55. A radio DJ has died tragically on the air this morning. Tragically? That's not tragically. That's curiously, but not tragically. We all die. And this wasn't like, a plane didn't crash into the studio. This isn't tragic. We overuse that word, tragic. This is sad. It's sad when anybody dies, especially someone that people like. And apparently people like this guy. Tragically. Let's see here. Tim Go, who presented a breakfast show, that means morning radio, as he's a morning host, who presented a morning show, Gen X Radio, passed away an hour into his broadcast today. The music stopped partway through a song during the 55-year-old show. It resumed a few minutes later, but Tim did not return. Tim leaves behind a son, 2 siblings, and his mum. That's how the British report. Mum is how they say it. Gen X Radio Suffolk confirmed Tim had died. A spokesperson said on Twitter, "It is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to inform you, our dear friend and breakfast host, Tim Go, has passed away this morning whilst presenting his program. Our love to his family, son, sister, brother, and mom. Tim was doing what he loved. He was 55 years old. Rest in peace." Tributes poured in for Tim over Twitter. Okay, so we don't need to go into that, but that's kind of weird. Dying on the air. Dry shampoo is trending. You guys know what dry shampoo? I don't know what dry shampoo is. What? I mean, look, I've not had a lot of experience with shampoo these past 20 years, but what is dry shampoo? Is that a thing? Is it like dry laundry detergent? Is it like a powder that you put on and then when you get wet, it is that? I don't know what it is. But they're recalling it because Ebola. No, I don't know. I'm kidding. That's a joke. I don't know. Something is in there. FDA has released a list of dry shampoo products that may contain a chemical linked to blood cancer. All of these are being recalled. Looks like they are Unilever products. Unilever is being named. The parent company of Dove, Suave, and Tresemme has voluntarily recalled certain dry shampoos. Is that what dry shampoo is? I don't know. I mean, Al says elderly people use dry shampoo a lot since they are not able to get into tubs and showers as easy as we are. Well, so there's no water? I don't know. I don't know if I understand that. All right, moving on. Anyway, if you have Dove, Suave, or Tresemme dry shampoos, throw them out. Or I guess go online. Maybe you get your money back. I don't know who's doing that, right? It's like a $2 bottle of shampoo. You're gonna spend, how much is your time worth? You're gonna spend online. You're gonna figure out how to send. You're gonna get the packaging piece. You're gonna go down to the post office. You're gonna pack it. You're gonna send it back in for $2. Just throw it out. Just come on. How much is your time? Your time must be worth nothing. Solar eclipse. There's a solar eclipse happening over in Europe and Africa and stuff like that. It's nothing about us. We're not going to be able to see it, but it is happening over on another part of the world, and people are like, solar eclipse. Oh, and over in that part of the world, I'm sure they're being crushed with, this is the last time until next week. They always do that. Whenever it's one of these celestial events, they always try and hype it. Like, you're never going to see something like this again. And then like 6 months later, you're never going to see. And it's apparently there's a lot of things that we're never going to see again. And they're just coming one after another. It's the final eclipse, or they like hedge it. They like say things like, it's the final 70% solar eclipse. 70%, what does that mean? Well, it means it's not a full one. Okay, so it's not a full eclipse, but it's the final one that you're ever going to see at this particular number of percentage of being able to see it. Right. Okay. And then next week, will there be one at 68%? And will you tell us this is the last time you're going to see a partial eclipse at 60? This is what they do. It's all about trying to get us excited. Don't get excited about this. Why am I even wasting my time? We have more important things to talk about, like it's World Pasta Day. World Pasta Day. God, I love pasta. Oh, God. I had a cheat week on my diet. Cheat week. It was a week I wasn't on my diet. It was a week. I call it a cheat week. There's no such thing as a cheat week, fatty. I know. Thank you. There's a cheat day. There's not a cheat week. I've had to cheat decades. I've been doing that for a while. I ate nothing but ravioli. God, I love ravioli. I can't have it now. Can't have it. Got to go without pasta. I know it's World Pasta Day. World Pasta Day falls on Taco Tuesday. How am I going to rectify that? You're on a diet. That's how. I know, but I am going to have taco salad tonight, which is just a regular salad. It's a taco salad is just a regular salad, except that I crunch up corn chips in it. And then instead of dressing, I use picante sauce and a little sour cream and whip that all up. Ah, it's delicious. They've turned any salad into a taco salad. It's delicious. So happy World Pasta Day on Taco Tuesday. Let's see here. Hey, where's my boy Jeff? Is Jeff Ballard here? Jeff Ballard is our Iowa correspondent. Apparently there's a serial killer in Iowa. Apparently some daughter, and that's okay. He's not on the loose. He's done with the killings. He's been dead for a while, and now his daughter there in Iowa is going, hey, I don't know who I'm supposed to tell about this, but my dad killed like 70 prostitutes, and they're buried all over our farm. And that's that's literally what's happening in Iowa right now. Some girl has come forward and said that her dad is a serial killer and he died a few years ago, and she wants all these bodies off her property or whatever it is. Authorities investigate. I guess you've got to. If you're the daughter and you have inherited this property and it's just littered with the decaying bodies of missing prostitutes, you're going to probably at some point want to sell this property and maybe make a little money. And should they ever develop it, they'll be like, hey, this lady that sold us this had body. So you got to come out and go, all right, I've recently inherited this property. None of these bodies are mine. My dad was a serial killer. That's what I think is happening here. You got to establish that. Authorities are investigating allegations of Western Iowa serial killer. Iowa authorities are investigating after a woman claimed that her father killed and buried dozens of women on their property in Thurman, Iowa. Jeff, how close is Thurman? Where are you to Thurman? I don't know, Jeff is out there in the middle of Iowa. According to an article from Newsweek, which broke the story and spoke with the daughter about her allegations, the late Donald Studdy had his children help dispose of at least 50 bodies on their rural 5-acre property in Fremont County. So you're complicit. That's a tough one. You're a kid. Your dad, how do you... that's a tough one. Anyway, still complicit. Studdy died in 2013 at the age of 75. His daughter estimated to Newsweek that he had killed between 50 and 70 women over 3 decades, primarily in the 70s and 80s. 70s and 80s, that's when you want to be good at serial killing. That was like the golden era of serial killing. The 70s, the 80s, all the big names were applying their craft in the 70s and 80s. This guy never got caught. That's the other thing. In order to truly be memorialized, in order to truly be known as a great serial killer, you had to have gotten caught. This guy didn't get caught, and he might be going for a record here. His daughter estimated to Newsweek that he killed between 50 and 70 women over 3 decades, primarily in the 70s and 80s. Most of the women were sex workers or transients lured by Studdy from Omaha to his rural property. She told Newsweek that she came forward to Nebraska and Iowa authorities many times throughout the years, but was unable to get anyone to take action. I believe it. I do. I believe it. Yeah. Hi. I think there's like 70 dead prostitutes buried in my farm. I'm wondering if you guys want to take a look at this. Fill out the paperwork, get in line. It's like that kind of thing. It's just like, well, I tried to tell them, but they made me wait in line down there at the county office. We're open-minded at this point, officer said. Let the information and if there is any evidence lead us in the right direction. Cadaver dogs have been out on the property. Cadaver dogs searched the property on Friday, and according to Newsweek, the dogs signaled where a well once sat. In total, the dogs indicated the scent of decomposition at 4 different sites around the property. So the dogs are saying, yeah, there's something here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Apparently he was dumping bodies in a well. And the well has since been covered over with cement. So I don't know. It's going to be a whole thing. But there you have it. Jeff says that's the opposite side of the state from where he is. He's East Central, and this is out there in Western Iowa. Not a lot to do, I guess. I guess your mind can wander. You can get some crazy ideas. Leslie Jordan. Leslie Jordan is being commemorated. I don't know who Leslie Jordan is. I have no idea. I mean, when I saw him, I went, oh, yeah, that funny little guy. Leslie Jordan was an actor, a little guy actor. He died in a car accident yesterday. They think that he had some kind of catastrophic health event just before he drove his car into a building in Hollywood. He was an actor. He was on Will and Grace, American Horror Story. He was on a lot. You'd know him if you saw him, but he wasn't a big star. He was a character actor who always played basically the same kind of character. And what would that character be? So he was a gay man. He was an older gay man who was very Um, all of the stereotypes of like gay men that was pounded into my head in the 70s and 80s, he kind of embodied, he was not, he wasn't, how do I say this? He was very, he was very gay. He was a gay little man who was funny. And he was on Will and Grace. And he became, I guess, really important to the gay community. Like the gay community knew who he was. I didn't know who he was. I was like, who? Leslie Jordan? Was the guy from the Naked Gun movies? Like that's what I thought. Didn't he die years ago? But no, he died yesterday. And then when I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that dude. All right, so like I remember him because I like Will and Grace and all that. He played who did he play? He played Beverly Leslie. I think that was his name in or something like that. It was some play on his real name. But he wasn't he like enemies with Karen? Like he was I don't know. But here's the thing. So I don't really know who this guy is. And apparently he was very important to the gay community on Instagram. Apparently he did, in addition, he was far more famous for his Instagram stuff than from his TV stuff. But man, this morning, CNN gave him like the final 10-minute block. And they were talking to people who, were his friends and all that. And I'm like, I never heard of this guy. This is I mean I didn't know the name. I know who he was, and when I saw him, I smiled a little and I went, "Oh yeah, that funny little guy." But a 10-minute block on CNN for this guy? Well, when real mainstream, well-known, famous people die, they don't give them 10-minute blocks. So whatever. He got a nice little thing, and I'm like, huh. I didn't think he was that famous, but okay. Apparently everybody's talking about him. Al says he did some work here at Circle Theater in Fort Worth. Let's see here. Bullet Darkheart. He was sweet, funny, and had a huge following since the pandemic, bringing joy and funny stories. Yeah, that's what I learned about him. That's what apparently he was huge on Instagram during the pandemic. He would tell Hollywood stories. Shit that I'd actually be interested in hearing, but I just didn't recognize him as like that big of a star that people would be like, ah. But then again, I barely use my Instagram, so maybe if I did. But there you go. Leslie Jordan, the I don't know. Yeah. Godspeed, young man. And again, car accident in Hollywood. They believe that he had some sort of a medical event before that all went down. Fentanyl is, of course, trending because, fentanyl is your kid's going to get the Florida Attorney General would like everyone to know that you should be really concerned because drug dealers are giving your kids free drugs. This is not a thing, folks. This is not a thing. Yes, they are sneaking fentanyl into this country in candy bars and wrapped in like the example I saw was a thing of Whoppers. Whoppers. There's a box and they're like malted milk balls. So they opened up this and it was all of these like rainbow colored fentanyl pills in the thing of Whoppers. Now, and they tried to use that because they want stupid people to go, oh, they're giving out Whoppers for Halloween. Look, it's candy and there's pills in there. It's not candy in there. It's actual pills in there. And they're probably just handing out. First of all, nobody hands out full boxes of Whoppers. Okay. Second of all, that box of Whoppers that they showed that they had confiscated at the airport, there's probably 10 grand worth of fentanyl in there. No drug dealer is giving out 10 grand. This is so stupid. You see? They're doing it. No, it was in candy just simply to get it into the country. They weren't going to leave it in the candy. They take it to the drug house and they put it in little baggies and then they sell. Nobody is going to be. It's just driving me nuts. So anyway, because you can control people when they're afraid. If you're afraid, if you're worried about something, this is where fear-mongering comes from, especially in the political sphere. If you can scare people into believing something is true and then convince them that you're the one to stop it from happening, you got them. You got them because people love to be scared. And that's exactly what's happening. Florida Attorney General Moody warns parents of very real threat of rainbow fentanyl that resembles candy being handed out on Halloween. Why? Again, think this through. Don't just look at the still photos of the customs seas at the airport where they found a whole bunch of fentanyl hidden in candy products. That was not ever going to be given away. There, again, the box of Whoppers I saw had about $10,000 worth of fentanyl in it. Nobody's going to hand your kid a box of Whoppers with $10,000 worth of illicit drugs in there. It's not going to happen. That is a business model that cannot sustain itself. And one thing that I know, drug dealers know how to make money. Who else is buying all the Siberian tigers, right? I mean, drug dealers make a lot of money. They don't give their money away. They don't give their drugs away. I hate this story. It happens every year. Scare parents. Scare them. Scare them into not allowing their kids to have a normal childhood. Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody is sounding the alarm that the threat of rainbow fentanyl that looks like candy is very real and is urging parents to have important conversations with their children on the subject. Nobody's giving you... That's... They're not giving away drugs. They're making... In states where cannabis is legal, they're giving out pot gummy bears to kids. Do you know how expensive pot gummy bears are? If you live in a state where they have dispensaries, which is literally like a candy store for stoners. If you live in a state that has dispensaries, you go in there and you can buy something that looks like candy. You can buy a weed candy bar. You can buy a little bag of weed cannabis gummy bears. But you know what? They cost like $70 each. You're not giving them away. Nobody's going, oh, kids, here's a $70 bag of gummies for you. Here's a $70 bag of gummies for you. Here's a $70 bag of gummies for you. Nobody is doing that. It's not a realistic fear. Drugs cost money, and the people that have large amounts of drugs don't give them away. They sell them for a profit, or they use them themselves. They're not giving them away to 10-year-olds who are coming to the door on, God, you guys. But keep all the dumb moms scared. Oh, I saw on Fox that they're giving out. No, they're not. And they're telling you this because they like you to be scared, and they like you to then think, well, I'm scared. They seem to know what they're thinking about, so I'm going to trust them now on everything. That's how they do it. They break you down. They get you thinking that they've got all the answers and that they're going to warn you and they're going to keep you safe. Really, they're just manufacturing fear for their own power. That's it. Stop being a puppet. Nobody's giving out free candy. Nobody's giving out free drugs. Find me the house that's giving out free drugs. I'll put on whatever costume I have and I'll be over there. For the children. I'll be over there for the children. I will confiscate all of their drugs. All right. Guys, that's it. That's all I got. Let's see. Let's jump into what else is trending today. Let's see if there's anything else that we need to get into. Kanye is trending again because Adidas has terminated the partnership. We already covered that. Soccer. Jon Stewart's trending. Why is Jon Stewart trending? Jon Stewart interviews Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich. I don't care. That sounds like politically divisive nonsense. We don't do that here. iMessage. I don't know what iMessage is, but apparently it's an Apple thing, and I'm not down with the Apple. Apple's, excuse me. Hold on. Gotta clean the pipes. If you have allergies, and all my allergic brethren have, some of them have reached out, and their allergies are bad. This is bad. It's bad because it's like, what's the temperature now? We can't stabilize with any season here over the past week. It's been 100. It's been 40. Hold on. All right, I got 63 degrees. I got 63 degrees right now in Highland Park, Texas. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It just updated. 70. We're up to 70 degrees. iMessage is trending. Apple's iMessage platform has suffered an outage for some users amid a broader wave of complaints about the performance of mobile networks operated by AT&T and Verizon. I'm AT&T. I haven't had any problems. Are we still connected? Are we streaming? Yeah, we are. We seem to be fine. Brittany Griner, we talked about her. Russian court rejects Brittany Griner's appeal of a 9-year prison sentence. I don't know who Steve Lacy is. Steve Lacy is trending because of something on TMZ. Steve Lacy is a relatively new artist, but he's making one thing clear early. He won't tolerate things being thrown on his... I don't care. I don't know who Steve Lacy is. Kevin Bacon is trending. Why is Kevin Bacon trending? I like bacon. You know what I thought was funny about Kevin Bacon? And again, I can say this because he's a wealthy, successful, iconic, happily married. Him and Kira Sedgwick, right? They still together? That's good for them. He's got a whole... He was Footloose guy. He was a big star. But his name is Bacon, and he looks kind of like a pig. If you were going to... although if he was fatter, it would be better, but he's not fat. But if you were to like turn Kevin Bacon's face into an anthropomorphic animal or something, it would be a pig, right? So because he's got, Kevin Bacon's kind of got that kind of thing. His name's Bacon. I don't know why he's trending. Should we find out? Is Kevin Bacon in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie? I think that's what it is. I think Kevin Bacon is in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and that's why he's trending. I don't really much care. Although I like the Guardian of the Galaxy movies a lot. I like Chris Pratt a lot. I think he's funny. I'll see whatever he does. I even like his sweater commercials. I don't know. Chris Pratt does like commercials for some clothing line, and he's really funny in them. He's funny. I like him. Let's see here. What else do we have trending? Nope. Ash Carter, we talked about that. And a whole bunch of gaming stuff. I can't even talk about the gaming stuff that's trending. I don't know anything about that. Nike. Why is Nike trending? Adidas is trending. Probably has something to do with that. Okay. Apparently there's some political thing that Nike's getting drawn into, and we don't do politics here because politics are stupid. If you belong to a political party, you're an idiot. Stop it. Stop thinking that any party has your best interest. And don't do it. Don't talk about politics. Let's see here. Okay, so Hope Hicks is trending. This is kind of political, but man, is she hot. Just remember Hope Hicks? Hope Hicks was like that really hot assistant. She was a friend of Ivanka's. Ivanka's? Is that her name? Yeah, not Ivana. Ivana dead, ex-wife. Ivanka daughter. She was a friend of Ivanka's, and she like just got fast-tracked into like the Trump inner circle. Why she's trending. Breaking news. Terrible news terrible news for Donald Trump as it's revealed that his former top aide, Hope Hicks, will voluntarily testify before the January 6th committee. She was widely considered one of his closest advisors and will likely have bombshell information. Or not. She might not likely. Please. She's beautiful, though. SMU girl, SMU grad. That's right. Hope Hicks. Although she's like gorgeous. She like the way she dresses and the way she carries herself, very sexy, very sophisticated, very elegant, very beautiful. From like 15 yards away. But then as you get closer, it's like, oh, you're just a normal girl who seems to be taking advantage of all the advantages that you've been given in life. You've got really good hair and really good makeup. But you're not, it's not like, you're not Giselle. I was looking at a big picture of Giselle this weekend because I'd never really looked at Giselle. I just knew Giselle is beautiful. I saw a picture of Giselle like now without any makeup on. Oh my God. CNN reports that Hope Hicks is scheduled to meet with the okay, we don't even talk about that because that is so politically divisive, and we don't need to get into that. All right, guys, that's about it. I don't know what else to give you. We're done. That's all we got for today. Sometimes we get a lot. Sometimes we don't have a lot. Today, not a whole lot to get into. Join us tonight, 9:00 for the second stream of the day. We do 2 streams. We do this one, high noon. This comes on at noon, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time every day. We run through all the day's topics. And then we come back at 9:00, 9 Central Standard Time. Central Time Zone, the only time zone that we recognize here. Come back at 9:00, and it's myself and James Parker. And that's a little bit more conversational. But on Tuesday nights, if you notice the scroll down there, it's Tuesday Night Trivia, the Tuesday Night Trivia Challenge between myself and James Parker. We've not yet decided what the categories will be. Last week, for the first night of Tuesday Night Trivia with Pugs and Parker, we did just general trivia. I was forced to answer questions from the 1980s, and he was or was I 90s? I don't remember how he did it. Anyway, this time we're probably going to do one like a music trivia today or movie trivia today or whatever. We're going to do it's going to be a category. Hope you join us. Hope you play along. Hope the chat room. We need the chat room. It'll be fun. It was we had a lot of fun doing it last week. So why not? Once a week we'll just do some trivia and we'll hang out and whatever. That's what we do. Okay, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go jump in bed because I'm crashing off of the... I took like these things this morning, and I had to take them this morning. The minute I woke up, I took these allergy pills. Now, I typically do not... I don't take these allergy pills because they kick my ass. And if I take them at like 2:00 in the afternoon, then I'll be asleep for the night at 6, right? But today I decided, what if I take them right away? What if I take them right away? And then all of the benefits of the allergy pills they'll be in full force when I do the stream at noon. So I'll feel the best I will. And then, but here's what's going to happen. As soon as I sign off here, I'm going to go in the bedroom. I'm going to lay down. Actually, I'm going to take a hot shower first because I have to take a super hot shower and get all of this gunk out. Oh, you don't need to know. You don't need to know. It's terrible. But after I take that hot shower, I will probably just go and lay down because my head is banging a little, and I'll sleep. I'll probably sleep till 7:00 tonight. And then guess what? Then I'll do the live stream with Parker at 9, and then I'll be up until like 5 in the morning. Oh God, it's terrible. It's just terrible. Well, let's get started. Let's get the terrible chain of events started. All right. Thank you, folks. Hope you come back and join us tonight. Got my songs. I got nothing else. You guys got anything else? No, you're awesome, Al. No, you. Fabian. Later, Fabian. Fabian. What a badass name. That is such a cool name. Love it. Byron, you just got here? Well, you're showing up late. And guess what? You can go to Pugs Cast and you can just rewind it. You're not late. This is going to post in a couple of minutes. You can go there and then you can just start it from the beginning and you'll get the full thing. It'll be cool. Who else? Anybody else in the chat room that I need to say howdy do to? Joel's here, Leslie's here, April's here, Dustin's here, Jen's here, Jeff's here. Or we're here, I should say. The goat. Look at the goat hanging out. JBM. You know what I want to do? I want to get one of those mirrors. Remember on Romper Room where you'd look into the mirror and they'd go, I see Joel, I see April, I see Bill Folk, I see Jeff the Animal Glenn, I see the lovely Leslie. I can do that. And you know what I won't do? I won't mention everybody. I won't. I'll just randomly pick people not to mention because then that creates... Do you remember that? Do you remember at the end of Romper Room when you were a kid? You'd sit there and you'd go, say my name. Come on, Miss Kathy, say my... Or whatever her name was, Miss Susie. I don't know. Say my name. And then they wouldn't say your name and you'd be like, they didn't say my name. But then when they did say your name, you'd be like, yeah, she saw me. We were so dumb. Dumb kids. So I'm going to do that. I'll do that. I'll leave some of you out just to give you that experience. I hate my body. I mean, I hate my body. I hate my body in the mirror. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I hate the inner workings of it even more. I need a stabilized weather pattern to come into North Texas and just keep it the same. It needs to be, if it's going to be 50, it needs to be 50 for like a couple of months so that my allergies will be normal. But when it goes from 100 degrees and sunburn to rainy and freezing like yesterday, that wasn't freezing. Let's not overstate it. It wasn't freezing. It was actually kind of nice. But it was rainy and dark and thunderstormy, and all of these allergies were like, we don't know how to react. Okay, bye everybody. We'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock for Pugs and Parker proudly present Tuesday Night Trivia on the Radio Misfits podcast platform.